I'm Timotab, and today I'm going to solve zipper loops by Jobo. If you'd like to try this puzzle for yourself, it'll be the first link in the description. Let's have a look at the rules. Normal sudoku rules apply, so we're going to place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every box. Lavender lines are zipper loops. Zipper loops have two centers which are to be deduced. Digits on a loop that are an equal distance away from a center must sum to the digit in that center. All zipper loop centers are contained in a single cell and must be equal to their row, column, or box number, so they are friendly cells. Okay, so let us first consider if this were a zipper line rather than a zipper loop. On a zipper line, first of all, you might have a central cell, a center, or you could have a central pair of cells with a sort of nominal center on the edge. But we have been told that all zipper loop centers are contained in a single cell. So we're going to have a central cell. Let us mark that. Now, whatever this digit is, let's say it were a 9, then these two cells could be 4 and 5 between them, because they would then add up to 9. These could then be 1 and 8, and so on. In fact, we could put 3 and 6 here, and then this digit would be the other center because this is a loop. So we're going to have the same digit on both centers of our zipper loop. The other thing is that zipper loops are friendly cells. So I'm going to take one that's not on a zipper loop, so I'm not quote-unquote solving. Let's do this cell here. Okay, this is in row 3, it is in column 6, and it is in box 2. So if this were a friendly cell, it could be 2, 3, or 6. And that's how friendly cells work. All right, I am going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. All right, our initial, zipper loops in general. We are going to have two digits that must be the same digit. They are both the centers, and cells equal distance apart will sum to those centers. So these two are equal distance apart. Sorry, these two are opposite each other on the loop. It's the same number of digits to get from one to the other as it is to get back to the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that those two could be centers, those two could be centers, those two could be centers. Don't think we know much more than that at the moment. On this one, we could have those two, or those two. Actually, this long one looks very interesting. I must have a 9 on it somewhere, because every row, column, and column has the digits 1 to 9. So I am going to have a 9 somewhere along here. The only place for a 9 on a zipper line or zipper loop whose center is in a single cell is to be that center. So when we find the 9 on here, that will be the center, because I can't add anything to 9 to make a bigger digit because there is no bigger digit. So we know that this outside loop has a center of 9. And it has to be a friendly cell. So, and we have exactly 2 centers on a line. So I can't put a center that's not in the corner, because if I did that, I would need one that was, supposing I had this as my center, I would need one here that's rotationally opposite it, but then I would need another center somewhere along, or another 9 somewhere along here that's not here or here, because I've already got the 9 for the row. But I can't do that because then I would have 4 9s on there, so there are only 2 9s, they are the centers. That can't be a 9 because if it's a friendly cell, it's in row 1, column 1, and box 1, and that would therefore only be able to be 1. So the only other place is these two. Those are the centers for the outer line, the outer loop. And that seems to be a start. And this is in column 9, this is in row 9, and so we have our friendly cell requirement met. Okay. Let us have a look at this. Okay, if this were our center, they have to both be the same digit. So that would be, this is in row 2 and box 2 and column 4. So it'd have to be 2 or a 4. This is in box 4, row 3, column 3 and row 6. And so the only digit that is common between those is 4. Could I have 4 as my center? That would be 1, 3, that would be 1, 3, that would be 2, that would be 2. So yes, we could. All right. Let us consider that pair. That is in row 3, box 2, and column 4. This is in column 3, row 4, box 4. So it'd have to be a 3 or a 4, but if it were a 3, that would be 1 and 2. Could that work? If that's 3, that would be 1 and 2, that would be 1 and 2, and that would be 1 and 2. I think that could work. Or with 4, we'd get 1 and 3, 2 and 2, 1 and 3. Okay. Let's have a look at this possibility. This is row 3. Box 2, column 5. This is 2, 3, or 4. So this would have to be, this is 2, 4, and 4. And this is 2, 3, and 2. So this is 2 or 3, this is 2 or 4, it would have to be 2. Okay, those are not the center, because the only valid center as friendly digits go is 2, and I can't put 2 1s there. I can't put 2 1s there. Yeah, every pair would have to be 1s, right. Every pair would have to be 1s, so those would have to be 1s. All right, that leaves these two. This is a 1 or a 3, so it'd have to be a 3. And this is 3, 4, or 5. No, 4 or 5. Just 4 or 5. That would be 1 or 3. That would be 4 or 5. So those can't be centers. So if either of these is a center, the maximum digit it can be is a 4. And then the maximum digits of these that can't be centers must be 3. Okay. Interesting. All right. Right, let's look at these two. Let's put in candidates there. This is row 6, column 4, box 5. So that's a 4, 5, or 6. That is 3, 8, and 7. None of those digits are in common. That's not a center. This pair is, this digit is 7, 4, 8. And this is 8, 7, 2. So if that's the center, it is 7 or 8. I'll give those a different color. And then here, this is 7, 7, and 3. This is 8, 8, and 4. So they have no common digits, so they can't be the center. So that is definitely the center and is 7 or 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's our candidate. This is 4, 6, 5. This is 7, 8, or 9. Nothing in common. So let's move to the next pair. This is 5, 6, 7. This is 6, 8, 8. So they could be 8. I'm going to pencil mark that in like that for now. So that if we know that it's green, I don't have to recalculate what are the possible values. Let's look at this pair. This is 6, 8, 6. So that's 6 or 8. Wait, why have I got an 8 there? Hang on, let's have a look at green again. That is 5, 6, 7. This is 6, 8, 8. They are 6s if. Okay. So this is 6, 6, or 8. This here is 8, 8, or 5. So one of those two would be an 8 if that's our center. This digit and this digit can't be center because they see each other by sudoku. That was easy. These two. This would be 6, 6, or 5. This would be 7, 8, or 9. So no digits in common. Wait. I got this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I've got that wrong. Let's start again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's the pair I'm looking at. They cannot be because they see each other. This is the correct pair I need to look at. Let's try this again. All right. This is 5, 6, or 7. This is 5, 8, or 8. So if that is correct, they are 5. These two. This is 6 or 8. This is 7, 6, 7 or 8. So if those two are, they could be 6 or 8. These two, 5 or 6 here, 7, 8, 9 here. Those do not have any digits in common. These two, this is 5 or 6 here. This is 7, 8, or 9 here. Those don't have any digits in common. That's a 5. That's definitely not a 5. So here are our options for this loop. Okay, can this really be a 5? Is the question. These would all have to be less than 5, and would therefore be a 1, 2, 3, 4 set, 1, 2, 3, 4 set, and that could not exist. So no, those do not work out. Let me just double check here. I've got row 6, column 8, box 6. That is 6 or 8. This is row 7, column 6, box 8. So that is 6 or 8. So could this be 6? These would have to be from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Could they be from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? All right. Where are my pairs? That would be a pair. 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 I can't see an obvious reason just yet why this can't be a 6. It would place 6 into one of those two. This digit would then fit into one of those two. Okay. So one of those three is our orange digit, purely by sudoku. Now, where is our corresponding? So that one is that one. That means we have the complement of the orange digit here. So the one that adds up to 9. So 7 would go with a 2, 8 would go with a 1. So we do have a 1 or a 2 here in those three. But I don't see quite how that's going to work. Okay. These two digits add up to 7 or 8. But it can't be 3, 4. But they could be 2, 5 or 1, 6. They could be 2, 6 or 1, 7. Or 3, 5. So I have a digit from 1, 2 or 3 as one of those two. Which gives me a virtual 1, 2, 3, 4 in the column. So one of these is definitely 4. Okay, so one of those is definitely 4. So if that's 4, that's a 1, 3 pair. If that's 4, that would be a 1, 3 pair. Okay. Right, these two digits also include a 1, 2 or 3. Right, and that just gives us another virtual 1, 2, 3, 4 pair in the column. And again, we know that one of those is 4, but we knew that from that. So if this is 4, that has to be 1, 3. If this is 4, if that's 4, then that's 1, 3. That could be 1, 3 or 2, 2. And that'd be 1, 3. If this is 4, that's a 1, 3. Those are definitely 2. And that's a 1, 3. Okay. I am trying to see where these digits go in this box, particularly for this line. Right, if this is 7 with this being 8, I guess I can do that. Obviously they can't both be 8, but they don't have to either of them be 8. Well, is that so? Okay, those two would add up to 6, those two would add up to 6, those two would add to 6, those two, and those two. So those would all be from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe there's some more. Well, yes, okay, I can place a 9 here because it can't go in any of those cells, and it can't go in any of those cells. That was probably a good thing to notice, and that's a 9. So let's think about some 9s. That's probably a useful thing to do. Nope, that's not a 9. Silly me. That's the 9. Not quite sure what I was thinking there. Well, I saw the empty 9 or the empty cell here and forgot that I'd already got a 9 in the box. There we go. That's a 9 there. So that places a 9 into one of those two. That places a 9 into one of those two. That places a 9 here. We get a 9 in one of those two, so that's not a 9, and that is. And we have a 9 in one of those three. Okay, that's cleared up a few things. So, this purple digit, it cannot go on its own line no matter what value it is. And it can't go in any of those places by sudoku. It's clearly not on 1, 2, or 3, so that is a purple. Okay, that makes this a purple 6 or 8. Aha. Which makes this cell a 1 or a 3. Is that right? No, not that cell. It's 1, 2, it's this cell. Equal distance from here is here. That's the cell, is a 1 or a 3. How does that affect things? Right. One of those is purple. If it's this one, then that is a 1 or a 3. But if it's that one, that doesn't tell us anything extra. So we do have a virtual 1, 2, 3, 4 that uses that. So this is 5, 6, 7, or 8. Which makes this a 1, 2, 3, or 4. Yeah, so in fact, yes, we know that one of those two is 4. We know that to make the 7 or 8, we need a digit from 1, 2, and 3, and then a digit from 5, 6, and 7. Because I can't do 3 and 4, and I can't do 4 and 4. But the point is we have a digit that is from 1, 2, and 3 in one of those two slots, and therefore that gives us all of the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the column. We have a 9. This is 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have a similar situation here. This is a pair that adds to 7 or 8, includes a 1, 2, or 3. That's all the 1, 2, 3, 4s in the column. This is not a 9. This is a 5, 6, 7, or 8. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If purple is 6, then these cells I've highlighted must be from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That gives me a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quad. We need a 7 and an 8 to go in here. This would be a 7, this would be an 8. So if this is a 6, this is an 8. And if this is an 8, this is a 7. So one of these two is, in fact, an 8. So that's not an 8, which means that that is not a 1. And in fact, we know that one of those two is a 4, so that's not a 4. So that's not a 5. And now I need a 5 on here in this column. So I either get 5, 2 or 5, 3. And that means this can't be 6. There we go. If this were a 6, this would have to be both 7 and 8. Okay, so purple is now 8. That 8 makes this a 1. That makes this 7. That makes this a 2, 5 pair. None of those are 2. This is a 6. This is a 3. That's not 6. That's not 3. Okay, these two, oh, that's a 7. So that's not 7. So that's not 2. These two could be 1, 6 or 2, 5. Okay, I don't think this can be a 2. All right, if this is 4, that's a 1, 3 pair. I get a 1, 3 pair here. Yeah, that can't be a 2, so that couldn't be a 2. If that's a 3, that's 1, 2. That would be a 1. Oh, maybe that could be a 2 still. Okay. In any case, that 3 removes 3's from all of those. Right. Right. Okay. If this is 4, that now can't be 1, 3. Okay, so this is 4. This is 4. That is our center on that one, so we can remove that. This now doesn't make sense. No, it's these two. That's a 1, 3. Those two are a 1, 3 pair. So that has to be 3. That has to be 1. That now has to be 2. That has to be 2 to make the 4 as these two cells. That has to be 3. That has to be 1. Okay. Okay, if that is 8, then that's a 1. And that's still looking feasible right now. Okay. Where does the 2 go in this box? It can't go in either of those cells because I would need a 7 with it. Can't go there by sudoku, so it goes there, and that makes it a 2, 5 pair. That makes that an 8. That's a 1. This can't be 4, 5, 1, 8, 2, 7. That must be a 3, 6 pair, and we know which way round it goes. And this is a 4. That puts 4 into one of those two by sudoku, which puts 5 into one of those by sudoku. We have a 7 in one of those, which places a 2 in one of those, but that's not a 2, so that's not a 7. Right. Right, I have a 1 in one of those two. If this were 1, that would be 8. In fact, where does 8 go in this box? By sudoku, it must go here or here, but it can't go on its own loop. So that's an 8. So that is a 1. That puts a 1 in one of those two. Can't have 8 there or there. 8 is in one of those two. But not having... Hang on. Right. I do need an 8 somewhere along here. 8 is in one of those 3 cells in this column, which places 1 here, here, or here. Which seems reasonable. Right, where does 1 go in this row? It goes in one of those 3, which gives us 7 here, here, or here. That seems reasonable. Right. What are these 3 digits? They are from 2, 5, 6, and 3. All right. So that digit is the 9 of, yeah, this add to 9. So that's 7, 6, 4, 3. Okay, that is not a 3 or a 4. So that is not, so that's now 6 or 7, so that's 3 or 2. Okay. Why do we know that there's a 5 there? Why have I got that pencil marked? Because that seems important. That's because 4 in this box must go there or there. All right, so if one of those is a 5, then neither of those is a 5. That makes that a 5, that's a 2, that's a 5, and that's a 2. Okay. We have a 1 in one of those two by sudoku. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but that can't be a 7, so that's not a 1. That's a 1. These 3 digits are 1, 3, and 4. That means that these 3 digits are 7, 4, and 5. So So this must be a 6. So this must be a 2. That makes this 3. That makes this 6. That makes this a 2. That is not 4. So that maps to this digit. So that's not 4. That's not a 3. That is a 1. And that means that that's a 7. That's a 4-5 pair. That is a 3-4 pair. This 3 makes this a 6. Right. These two digits are 1 and 2. That makes these two digits 7 and 8, which I know the order of. I think my color has served its purpose now. Let me finish off this thought. This is a 1, this is the 2. Let's remove the color. All right. So this is 5, 7, and 4. Oops, try again. And then we know that that's not a 7 and that's not a 5. So that there means that is 4 or 5. This is 5 or 2. This is 4, 5 or 2. We can remove our corner marks. All right. These two digits are 4 and 5. So this digit is 4 or 5. That gives me a 4-5 pair in the column. That makes this 3 and this 4. That 4 makes this a 4, which makes this 5, and that matches that 3. That's good. So that means that that's a 5. So that's 4, that's 5. That can no longer be a 4. That 5 means that that's not a 5. These two digits are from the column 3 and 6. And we know the order. That's a 3. That's a 6. That makes this a 6. These are 3 and 7. And I know the order. And that makes this digit a 5. These two are 9 and 6, and I know the order. These two are 9 and 7, which are not yet resolved. This lone digit here is a 7, so that does resolve this 9 and 7. These two digits are 8 and 9, which I know the order of. That places not an 8 there. That's an 8. By sudoku, that's a 1. These two digits must add up to 9, because if they didn't, we'd break this line. So, let me see. Might just be easier to... Right, these digits are from 4, 5, and 3. So that's 3, that's 4. That makes that 5. That must be 6. This is 2 and 7. Oh, that 4 makes that 2. So that's 7. That's 2. That is 7. 4 and 5 and 5 and 4. That is an absolutely fantastic puzzle. Thank you very much, Jobo, for creating it. I really enjoyed that. If you like this solve, then please hit the like button. You can subscribe to see some more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.